world, but I'm a man. Today, ladies and gents, I'm going to be talking about the Aurelius Mod by Invictus. Right now, I've got the Castle RDA on here. I got a 0.3 ohm build, dual macro coil build using 24 gauge Canthal. Let's face the facts. This thing doesn't hit nearly as hard as something like the Pegasus or the V3 Flip, the 24 karat plated V3 Flip, but it hits hard and it's satisfying. For my V3 Flip, the voltage drop was 0.1. For the Pegasus, the voltage drop between 0.1 and 0.2. Now for this, I found that the voltage drop is 0.4. That's a big difference comparing those devices to this. Now the Aurelius is like your LT1 engine, pushing 275 horsepower to the flywheel. Then you got something like the Pegasus and the V3 Flip, and those are like the LS1 engine, pushing 350 horsepower to the flywheel. Whoa! That's the difference, boys and girls! Compared to those devices, this thing doesn't hit nearly as hard. I would say about middle of the road. Pro number one, this device looks the tits. Love the matte finish, just like the Russian 91%, my favorite finish in all the world. I wish I still had the Russian 91%, I'd be rocking her on here right now, but I don't. 2. This is an 18650 telescopic mod, meaning every 18650 battery you put in here is going to be compatible. Flat top, button top, doesn't matter. And it's because it has a telescopic base portion, which I'll show you guys in the close-ups. 3. It's got an adjustable floating brass pin at the 510 connection, which allows you to screw all of your addies to sit flush on top. And by the way, all the atomizers that I own, that I've used, fits on here and sits flush to the top. Yeah, buddy. 4. The throw on this fire button is freaking great. I love it. I would say out of all my other devices, my mechanical mods, besides something like the V3 Flip, I prefer this fire button the most, just because it's super clicky, it's super easy to press, it fires every time, just love it. Oh yeah. Threads all throughout this device are as smooth as a baby's butt. I mean, buttery smooth, guys. It's got 7 vent holes. 3 on one side of the tube, 3 on the other, and then 1 at the base. The machining, top notch. Accents all across this device. Bottom, top, middle of the tube, which I'll show you guys in the close-ups. I mean, it gives it a classy touch. Classy, classy, classy. Gotta mention, this thing is made of stainless steel, and I tell you what, out of all the mechanical mods that I own, this device is the lightest mod that I've ever held. It almost feels like titanium, that light. Alright, con number 1, and this is my biggest con, and it's that this thing just does not hit as hard as some of my other high-end mods out there, like the V3 Flip, like the Pegasus, even like the Panzer Blackhawk, the regular version Panzer. Doesn't hit as hard as those devices. And that's a disappointment because this thing really does look the tits. It really does. It just doesn't hit as hard. And it's got to be a con to me. Also, as much as I love this firing button, love the clickiness, love the throw, just super easy, it does tend to back out on me, and when it backs out, the firing ring spins in place. It's an easy fix. All you got to do is press the fire button in there, screw the connection back into that fire button, and you're good to go. But it's got to be mentioned as a con. Last con, battery drop off. With all mechanical mods, you're going to be experiencing battery drop off, but with this one I noticed the battery drop off is sooner than most other mech mods that I own. After I put a freshly charged battery in here, within 30 minutes I noticed the battery drop off. I gotta switch out batteries. I don't like doing that, okay? I've gotten used to it with these other mods, some of these other mech mods like the Pegasus and like the V3 Flip. I keep mentioning those because those are cream of the crop, guys. Cream of the crop right now that I've had experience with. And I tell you what, with those I can go hour, hour and a half, hour and 45 before I notice the battery drop off. With this one I can only go 30 minutes. So those are the pros and the cons. Now it's time to go up and close and show you guys the Aurelius. Here is the Aurelius by Invictus. First things first, we're going to talk about the dimensions. Center tube, 21 millimeters in width. Top cap, 23 millimeters in width. The telescopic portion is 23 millimeters in width. It's got 7 vent holes, as you can see, 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and then 1 at the base. Here's the top cap, 510 connection, buttery smooth threads. All the devices that I own have fit on there and have sat flush to the top. Threads on this device, buttery, 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 buttery. See that pin down there, that brass pin? It's got a self-adjusting floating pin. So when I push this in and I go to screw on my device, See how that adjusts? Floating pin, and that's how it works. The air channels on the top cap allow your bottom fed airflow tanks to get the airflow they need. Cool little design too. Here's the firing portion of this device all broken down. To the far right, you've got the firing pin, which is made up of solid brass. It's a solid brass contact. Then right to the left of it is the tube. In the tube you have your insulator at the bottom. Okay, you've got these threads on the side of the tube, and that's for the firing ring. Firing ring screws into the tube. You've got your spring, and then you've got the firing button down here. Spring goes right here. Take the firing button, press that in between the spring, push that in, and then the brass pin screws into that button down at the base, in between the insulator. Drop it in just like that. While holding the button in, I'm going to screw in the pin. Make sure it's completely tight. Counterclockwise locks it. Clockwise unlocks it. Gosh, I love the throw. A little close-up of the center tube. Look at the accents. Absolutely gorgeous. Threads all across this device, buttery smooth. First thing I'm going to do is screw the RDA that I'm using onto the top of this device. And all you do is just screw it, screw it, screw it, screw it until it's completely tight. And it should be making connection up top. And that's how it works. Oh yeah. At the base you got the logo with the serial number 007. So that is the Aurelius by Invictus. Let's go ahead and take it back to the original screen. An online shop by the name of vapcafe.com. I'll have a link right here and a link in the description. They sent this to me for review, and on their site it's listed at 500 shekels, which comes out to, okay, if you convert it over to US dollars, that's $144.35. Question is, if Vap Cafe hadn't sent this device to me for a review, would I have purchased it? Even though there's a lot of pros to this device, no, I wouldn't have purchased it. It really takes a lot for me to pull the trigger for any mech mod. This is Rip Trippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.